He is their Dana White. Dana White does not have a fucking Hollywood. He doesn't have Mark Wahlberg trying to push him out or trying to push blame on him.
Yeah,
That's a bad comparison. Dana White does not have anyone like The Rock, which is the perfect transition to talk about all the drama coming out of WrestleMania this week. During an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, the big missing link to the main event of WrestleMania that we've been talking about, The Rock shared his insight on his absence from WrestleMania 41, including why he stepped away from the build of WrestleMania after appearing at Elimination Chamber Toronto. The premium live event saw John Cena attack Cody Rhodes at the direction of The Rock. Cena, The Rock, and Travis Scott all stood tall over the beaten Cody Rhodes at the end of the event. The Rock informed Pat McAfee that he thought that it was best for him to step away from the build to Rhodes versus Cena at this year's WrestleMania. And he said, and I quote, on Ari Emanuel calling him to appear at Elimination Chamber, I got a call about a month before Elimination Chamber. I get a call from Ari Emanuel, who owns TKO. He said, we need help at Elimination Chamber. Ticket sales a little slow, but beyond that, what we are finding is it's become the pay-per-view that is interesting. Fans have had fun, but it's also the conduit to WrestleMania. How do we create an elimination chamber that people must tune in to see? How do we create that? Right now, we don't have that. Will the final boss show up? I said, let me give it some thought and I'll get back to you. I gave it some thought. I got back to Ari, Triple H, and Nick, and we had a call. On his idea about the final boss asking for Cody's soul, he said, I have an idea. The most important thing to the final boss isn't money, titles, fame. Been there, done that, and grateful for that. The final boss wants your soul. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean the final boss wants you to act like this or be like this at his beck and call, or treat you like crap, or make you do all these things that are unbecoming and or embarrassing. And on what happened at Elimination Chamber, he said, and I quote, that's not how the final boss flies. What that means is whatever dreams Cody Rhodes has, whatever ambitions, even if they're dark, amazing, full of light, scary, whatever they are, you tell the final boss and he makes it all happen. And when it comes to giving the final boss your soul, that is what you want, not what the final boss wants. What does the final boss get out of that? Your soul for life. Now we goes into Elimination Chamber with this idea of, will Cody Rhodes sell his soul to the final boss? My thought at the time was it was a litmus test to see how the fans will respond if Cody sold his soul to the final boss. Let's get a temperature check on this, establish it, anchor it in, and you come to find out that they were a lot of fans saying, sell your soul. I was an advocate of that. Not turning heel soon, but eventually down the line. I like the idea of that because Cody is a smart and intelligent guy, a ring general, and this idea that you give him a reason to turn way down the road, you give him a reason to turn, not based on titles, but it's his soul and what that means, that affects generations. It's transcended beyond pro wrestling. Fans were loving it. They were? The Rock on how they picked John Cena turning heel. He says, as we got closer to Elimination Chamber, we were kicking ideas around. Myself, Triple H, Nick, my team. Triple H said, what about John turning? I said, I love it. The next question is talking to John and see how he feels about it. John loved the idea of turning heel. But he said there is an anchor that he was going to root it in, which was a real thing he's experienced over the past 25 years. When we were moving forward with John and this idea that we would crown him at 17 and being a heel champion, I knew then the best thing for the final boss, we've established this idea of Cody's soul. We can always come back to it. I did feel, and I made the... Yes. Oh, they are. You feel the same way about the final boss. Okay. The final boss said, I did feel and I made the call. I don't want to be involved in that. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. Let all the spotlight go to John and Cody. Let's not make it about Cody's soul or John's soul. Let's let them do what they do. I called John after Elimination Chamber. I called Cody and I said, I think the final boss work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle in the history of pro wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel. We have 6 weeks. Now let's build. You guys go and crush it. I'll be right there with you. I'm always here if you need me, but I think it's best for the final boss not to be involved in that finish. On how WWE planned for the finish of WrestleMania 41, he says they had 6 weeks to plan for that. I love the finish of the matchup. I would have finessed things a little differently on how they got there, but that's just me, creatively. Ultimately, the bottom line is I love John getting 17. I never had a concern about John pulling this off. My thoughts were always to Cody and what we've established with him and his story and the kind of babyface that he is. If done right, finesse right, and nuance right, down the road, that guy not only has an incredible run as a babyface champion, but also as an unheard of run as a heel down the road. On if there was a conversation around having him appear during the build or the actual match, he said no. They don't have to say anything like that to me. They know when I come to them and lay this out, here's how I feel it should go. We can insert the final boss into the end of this finish, but then where do we go? There are other commitments that I have, and I want to be careful that we're not overstepping. I can get involved in the finish, but why get involved in the finish when the spotlight should just be on John? 17, heel champion. What does 2025 look like if this man is saying he's going to ruin pro wrestling? That to me is the anchoring storyline. It's not soul right now, it's not, but we'll go back to it. I was surprised to see Travis Scott as well. And the moment I saw Travis, it immediately amplified, here comes the final boss. They were waiting. I love John Cena, heel champion. The GOAT says he's going to ruin wrestling. Some parts of it, I would have just adjusted. Basically, throwing Triple H under the bus, ladies and gentlemen. Fightful Select had some details on the reaction of WWE talent to things that The Rock had said this week and the backlash it has received online. Several talent said The Rock was not at television or on TV or at WrestleMania and didn't do any promotion for the event, not even on social media. Another talent said that he didn't bother tweeting about WrestleMania, but was quick to go on a podcast and talk about slow ticket sales and things he had issues with on the show. Rock said in the interview with Pat McAfee that his Elimination Chamber appearance earlier this year was to help ticket sales. Another talent backed that up as he was considered a huge boost for sales backstage. Before that, creative sources indicated that they were told to work on the premise that The Rock would not be appearing at the show. Many thought that would change after the events of Elimination Chamber, but were still told not to feature him heavily in promos. One longtime talent and the roster said that the roster enjoys having The Rock around, but added that a comment from a top talent last year that the card is at the mercy of Dwayne pulls him in both directions. One person believed that The Rock didn't want to interfere with WrestleMania plans like last year, but possibly didn't understand how much the story needed him. Another talent described it as an overcorrection after Rock was inserted into plans last year. People on social media have speculated about issues between The Rock and Triple H, but several talents said that if that were the case, the roster hasn't heard about it. There have always been issues of a respectful, but at times contentious relationship and rivalry between the two. Overall, the talent wasn't really frustrated with The Rock's absence nor his podcast comments, but were instead confused. One talent said, "We all found it kind of weird that he didn't promote the show at all. Another talent referenced The Rock telling Dave LaGreca this week after Dave LaGreca had a whole rant about the end of WrestleMania and the fact that The Rock wasn't around. The Rock replied that everything is a work. Every interview, every match, it's all a work. If you want to be involved in the creative discussions between myself, Brian, Cody, and the rest of us, you can, and you can add your perspective, but you shouldn't be ranting. Just watch and be a fan. Basically echoing what Triple H said in interviews ahead of WrestleMania. Another talent asked, what does that mean? Is he working every time he stops by and talks to us backstage too? Was that Pat McAfee interview a work even though he specified he wasn't in character? According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE sources with knowledge of long-term storyline plans denied that all of this, with the Rock saying that he wanted Cody to turn heel and John Cena being the second option. They denied that this is what is going to happen. So The Rock thought he was fixing something, and he just made this an even bigger clusterfuck. Krssi, I know this is probably your first time hearing about the whole Rock interview since you've been away. What do you think about The Rock not being at WrestleMania and then his explanation on the Pat McAfee show?
Definitely should have like made his way there, or like been in, like, you're one of the board members, so you have to know when WrestleMania is happening. You should be, even if you're not going to like come out, you should have still kind of been in the, like, you could have been in the box. Like, you don't have to come and show up.
He didn't want to. He was in Hawaii.
I know he wasn't doing shit. You could have got on your jet and still got back home in time to get back with your kids later that evening. I promise you. They do it all the time on fight nights. And you was only coming for one night, which was Sunday. So you saying you didn't know Travis was there, or you saw Travis was there, like, I find that very hard to believe. I'm sorry.
I mean, the reason why this Pat McAfee interview is going to be looked back on and talked about so much is because The Rock, he had like a nugget of a lie, but he intertwined it with a whole bunch of truths.
Okay.
No, truths. It's a lot of truth is said in this. When has WWE ever admitted to having low ticket sales or slow ticket sales?
Never.
That's the truth. Yeah. They never do that. WWE's hotter than it's ever been. Tickets are flying off the shelves. This is all good. Rock told the truth.
Yeah,
Rock told the truth.
I do believe. They begged him. That I do believe. For I believe they said, "Yo, we not selling these tickets. We need some." And that's their fault. You know why? Because from Royal Rumble, the whole thing has been like lackluster. The whole build to come into WrestleMania, you have 2.5-3 months to get this shit on the road, and you couldn't even do that.
Yeah. And it's the fact that they're charging an arm and a leg
to go to these shows.
A fucking mortgage. On average, I think WrestleMania tickets on average, the average ticket was $400.
That's terrible, son. I'm afraid to look at SummerSlam. I don't even know if I want to invest my time for that.
It's ridiculous.
I think I just want to stay in my house and watch the 2 nights in my home. Because it's not even guaranteed. Like, it's going to be like something to invest. I mean, it was great to see like Cardi B's going to be there, but what are they going to have her do? The same shit they made Sexy Red do?
I mean, probably, but
just, I'm just saying, like,
this is and then him basically admitting that the main event wasn't that good and that he would have finessed things a little bit better. He would have adjusted things a little bit better. That is him throwing Triple H under the bus. He threw him under the bus with the slow ticket sales because creative is a part of this, why it's moving so slow. Because when Triple H was doing well, they did not have any problems with slow ticket sales. Correct. But I feel like I'm fucking Negro Damas at this point, because I said 2024 was the last great year of Triple H creatively, And nothing that I've seen in 2025 outside of a few swerves and big moments like John Cena turning heel that wasn't even the plan to begin with. Those are the only thing that really made me go like, okay, he's actually doing something. And Raw after WrestleMania. That's about it.
Yes. That's it. Other than that, you get no flowers, sir. Sorry.
Josh, what do you think about what The Rock had to say and this power struggle going on between Rock and Triple H?
He made things a lot worse. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I watched the whole interview.
Did you really? Why?
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes long. You know, and he was going on like about his bullshit. He always gives like the same, like, well, what's getting annoying about The Rock is like every time he brings up like his heel turn, and it's like, bro, I've heard you say the same story like 5 times in the last 2 months. I don't need to hear it again. Like he does shit like that. Like he makes it about himself. And then when he was talking about like all this stuff, the whole thing with Ari called me up and he wanted me to be at Elimination Chamber because ticket sales were moving slow, which he's not lying about that. Tickets were not doing great at that time. However, it's more of like, why would you put that out in the universe? Like, you know, regardless of him being upfront about it, or if that was I think that was a move done on purpose. I think he wanted to make somebody look bad, and I think that person was Triple H. And he did it a few times. You know, when he talked about I think they asked him if he watched WrestleMania, and then he said he enjoyed it and he would have done things differently and all this stuff. I'm just like, damn, bro, like, whoa, what are you here for? Like, exactly.
Right. Like, what did they hire you to do?
But also, like, everything before that was kind of telling for me personally, because for one, he didn't promote WrestleMania at all. He didn't promote it not once, right? And it's not only he didn't promote it not once, but even the weekend of WrestleMania, he said absolutely nothing about it, right? Everyone was talking about the fact that he was wearing the New Japan shirt looking at a fucking Rubik's Cube. That's what people were talking about a week before WrestleMania, right? Yeah. No promotion, no mention of anything, no mention of what was going on. But then all of a sudden on Monday, the thing comes out, the advertisement of, The Rock is going to be on Pat McAfee's show on Tuesday. How come that was at this point? How come that was promoted? Yeah, you didn't even promote WrestleMania. And
Pat McAfee, right?
Yeah, and for me,
and he works for fucking people.
Yeah, and for me, it's just
that's why he was the perfect person for The Rock to talk to, because Pat wasn't going to push back on anything that The Rock was saying.
Yeah, he was gonna glaze him. He was gonna glaze the shit out of him, just like Peter Rosenberg glazed Triple H on that interview the week before. Like, it's all like, I mean, it's all like, and that's why with all like the WWE interviews and shit like this, that's why it's always funny that I believe that they probably thought, The Rock's gonna like do some damage control. He's gonna help us like clean up this mess, and he actually just made it worse. With everything. And as far as the power struggle, am I really surprised that there's a power struggle? No, it's Dwayne Johnson. He's done this everywhere he's gone, so I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised that there's something going on, and to his, I want to say benefit, but he does have a higher position than Triple H. I know a lot of people were speculating, like, I saw earlier in the chat about like, okay, that there's a percentage that Triple H might be gone. Somebody else said no, Triple H is fine. Me personally, I don't think he's that much fine. I think he's fine for like the most part, because what people forget too is that when Ari purchased the WWE and everything was going on, Vince McMahon was still trying to, have the same creative. Ari shut that down. Ari said no, Triple H has full control of creative. The difference is, when it comes to this situation, is that Ari is a lot closer with The Rock than he is with Triple H.
Yeah.
Right? He may like Triple H, but at the end of the day, if there was a choice that he had to choose, he's probably picking The Rock. again, there's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of speculation. There's no truth to this at all. It's just things that we know, like outside of like their relationships and stuff like that. In regards to like Dana White still being in the UFC, when Endeavor purchased the UFC, there was an agreement that Dana White was still going to be running the ship. And in that situation, it is true. There's nobody really trying to force Dana White out. So he could basically get away with anything he wants. Right. But WWE, Ari is still new to like all this stuff, like with the wrestling business and all these things. Right. He's a great businessman. Right. There's no doubt about that. He's done a lot of things that he has the reputation that he has for a reason. But in this situation, if he had to choose, he's going to choose The Rock. Why? Because The Rock is the biggest star. He has a better relationship with The Rock. And The Rock does have closer relationships with someone like Nick Khan. That was one of his close friends, even before Nick Khan got hired with WWE.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that, again, we don't know what's truly going on. But as far as the power struggle, it's not surprising because of the people who are involved. You have The Rock, you have Triple H, two guys who have massive egos. So it's like, it's not really surprising. And right now, Triple H doesn't have the leverage that The Rock has because he's not only a board member, but his job is very replaceable, regardless of what we may see. He's head of creative and head of, I believe, talent relations, right? I could be 100% wrong. Those two jobs, regardless of what people may think, they're very replaceable. You can't really replace a board member unless you do some fuckboy shit and then you get voted out, whatever the case they may be. The Rock has all the leverage when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's very true. And this whole thing, it stems back like almost 30 years. This all started when The Rock first came into WWE and Triple H and Shawn Michaels tried to bully him and keep him down and keep him underneath. They wanted to elevate Triple H and keep The Rock down at a certain level, but he was an undeniable talent, especially when he turned heel and he became a bigger star than both of these niggas. And I think that they still have animosity towards that. The Rock still has animosity towards Triple H for trying to hold him down and bullying him at that time as well. It all stems from that, but it also stems from last year because The Rock literally comes back January 1st and he teases a big matchup with Roman Reigns. But Triple H had already set in motion the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes rematch for WrestleMania 40 after WrestleMania 39. So it was a battle of that. So Triple H decides, you know what? I'm going to have Cody win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to tell Cody he should probably point to Roman Reigns that's who he's going to want to face. But The Rock comes back and he's like, well, no, I'm setting up this whole big matchup with Roman Reigns. And Triple H got his way because the fans turned on that whole idea. That was that whole big thing when they did that segment on SmackDown and Cody had the boo-boo face on, and then they did the kickoff show where Cody said he's still going for the matchup and The Rock had to turn heel. And the biggest thing is with Jimmy McAram on Thursday on AE Ramble, he reminded me of that fucking promo that Triple H did after the WrestleMania kickoff show, where he went on SmackDown and he basically did a fucking parade that he got his way. Like, na boo boo. Cody's going to WrestleMania, not you. I won, Rocky. Na boo boo. He already won, but he had to flaunt it. He had to flaunt it and he had to brag in his face. And I think Jimmy was right. Jimmy was like, Rock held on to that. He was like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna turn heel. I'm gonna help this WrestleMania. I'm gonna put out my best work ever. But watch, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you next year.
Yeah.
You think it's all sweet and good? Oh, you think it's all good? You set up your next year's WrestleMania main event with me and Cody.
Habitual line stepper.
I'm not gonna be there. How about that? Oh, you got a big idea. You want Cody versus John Cena? I want Cody to turn heel. Oh, you and Cody don't want that? Don't want him to turn heel? You want John Cena to turn heel? Oh, okay. We're gonna do it at Elimination Chamber. Like every time it was like a tennis match, a ping pong match of just two egotistical pricks, self-indulgent egotistical pricks going back and forth. But they are the worst kind of self-indulgent egotistical pricks because both of them want to be the good guy, which is disgusting. It's disgusting because I said it during our WrestleMania Night 1 review, and I will say it here. At the very least, with Vince McMahon, we all knew he was an egotistical prick, and he never tried to be the good guy. He always wanted to be the bad guy. He accepted that he was a bad guy. Once he did the Montreal school job, he accepted that he's the bad guy on screen, and he's the bad guy in life. Triple H and The Rock want so badly to be loved. They want to be beloved. They want to be good guys. And that's what makes them even more disgusting as an egotistical prick than the evil person that Vince McMahon is. At the very least, you could say he never lied to us and tried to be a hypocrite at the same time. They're hypocritical, self-indulgent, egotistical pricks. Both Dwayne and Paul.
Yeah, but it was also the difference.
Volumes right now.
Yeah, so and also the difference too when it came to Vince McMahon, right? Vince McMahon didn't go like on Media Week for WrestleMania. Like he didn't do interviews. He didn't put himself out there. This is the problem that they're having too, is that you're putting you guys are putting yourself out there way too much. Triple H has been doing it, and the reason why Triple H has been getting away with it for so long is because one, people liked of what he did in his career, and two, people saw that he was a step up from what Vince was doing. So there was a lot that he was getting away with, and I think now a big portion of the audience they're starting to see that, like, oh shit, like this man is making it about himself. How many times we've been saying it for a while? It's not like this is new to us. We've been saying it for a while. Now it's like, oh, so now you motherfuckers are starting to see it now, because like the whole thing with the and I told Sid this. So the whole thing with the Hall of Fame, right? You almost forget who was inducted in the Hall of Fame. Outside of Triple H, you forget who was inducted, right? Why? Because they made it about Triple H. There was times where they were doing commercials of it, right? Not only Hall of Fame, but you would think that Triple H was going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And the reason why I'm saying this is because one of my friends, right? I have a coworker who's a very casual wrestling fan, right? He knows like the big names. He knows that stuff, right? He asks me, hey, is there something going on with Triple H this weekend? Like, is he wrestling? And I started laughing. I said, hell no. I was like, no, he's not wrestling. I was like, but WrestleMania is this weekend. And he's like, oh, because I've been seeing like these commercials with like, they've been showing like graphics of him. What the hell is going on? So then I told him, I was like, oh, he's being inducted to the Hall of Fame. He's like, that's it? Oh, I think he was like wrestling. This is a casual fan, remind you. He doesn't watch wrestling a lot. And, you know, he actually got to see WrestleMania and he hated it. He was like, this shit is ass. He was like, I'm never watching this shit again. That's how much he disliked WrestleMania. But it goes to show you, like, again, like, the problem is that Triple H needs to be, I want to say he wants to be, he needs to be in his lane, because it's like you're head of creative, right? You're head of creative, you're an executive now. How many executives do you know around the country that like they put themselves out there like the way he does? Not many. Not many do that, right? And I know like a lot of people will bring up like Tony Khan, like, oh, you know, why doesn't Tony Khan do storylines? Tony Khan's in the shadows for a reason, and he said it himself. Like he doesn't want to be on TV. He doesn't want to be put himself in storylines like that, right? And you're starting to see the result of that. Like you're starting to see why Tony Khan doesn't put himself on camera. With Triple H is he's constantly out there. So when people try to like say like, oh, I don't see how he makes it about himself. I don't get it. He's on a TV every week. I'm like, no, you're not getting it. It's the perception of it. Like, again, the Hall of Fame, somebody thought he was wrestling. No, he's not wrestling. When Netflix was coming out to promotion, who was in the commercial? Triple H. Why is Triple H in the commercial? He's not fucking wrestling.
Who's doing the voiceover for the intro to WrestleMania? Who's starting off WrestleMania every fucking year? Like, and the other thing that Rock and Triple H are doing, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they are exposing the business. That seems to be their goal of 2025. How did we start the Raw on Netflix premiere with Triple H? Oh, it started with a typewriter because these are all baby faces and heels. We all write these stories. You know it's not real. Then you got Rock telling Dave LaGreca, oh, it's all a work. It's all a work. It's and none of this is real. You need to stop caring so much. And then you got Triple H saying, fuck off to the critics. Just be a fan. It doesn't matter what we do. It's all good. It's all make believe. Basically, that's what he's telling you. He's telling you not to be emotionally invested. He's telling you not to care that much because it does not matter because they are going to do what they want. And I just feel like this whole thing of them like openly kind of admitting that it's not kayfabe. They're just breaking kayfabe and it's not real. It's very baffling. It's very baffling because the whole reason that they became hot is because they embraced the fans. They made them believe again. And then he's trying to take that away now because he's not doing as well as he previously was.
Yo, Triple H is the type of guy to go up to a baby and tell them that Santa's not real, like at this point. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. You know? Again, we're a lot of us are, you know, like when it comes to the wrestling now, right? Like what we deal with now, obviously a lot of us who are adults, we know that it's right storylines, they're written, right? Obviously we know all that stuff, right? But then it's like, how are you trying to get a new audience when you're putting it out there? Like, oh, this is how it's done, or this is, you know, like you're trying to get a new fan base, especially younger demographic of fans. It doesn't make any sense to that extent. On top of that, they have the show that's coming out on Netflix, like exposing the business even more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's like, I get what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to embrace, like, hey, people know that it's fake anyway, so let's just go with it. It's just like, no, bro. Like, this is not it. This is not.
That goes against the entire moral ground of professional. It's supposed to be an escape. It's supposed to be an escape from real life, but they're making it known who they're supporting politically. They're making they're putting all these different C-list and D-list and F-list celebrities in the front row. We got your Andrew Schultz, we got your Tony Hinchcliffe. Hey, look at the president, he's putting on a hula fala. Like, how do you support
cringy? They made it all about like this whole like roast BS and this other stuff.
You know, and what makes it worse too is like with WWE, they're trying to navigate it as in like, no, we don't pick no sides, but it's like, guys, you're making it so fucking obvious. Like to me, that comes out more scummy.
Yeah,
because it's like you're being fake about it. That's what comes off, right? It's kind of like if there's somebody that you really hate. And we all know that you hate this person, and you're like, no, I really don't hate them. But then they're in your thoughts 24/7, and it's just like, bro, like just say you hate this person. That's how I feel about how WWE does that. Like they're making it known that you support this side, and you're trying to make it seem like that we're dumb, like we don't see it. It's just like, bro, just fucking tell me. At this point, just say it. Just say it. You already put it out there. Just say it. Just tell me.
They just think we're stupid. That's what it is. And we don't know. Much. And you keep putting your product out there, people are gonna see it. And they're gonna question it. Yeah.
Vala with a super chat donation. Thank you once again, Vala, for the support. He says we all love ops typos. My theory is that WWE Unreal is a show to babyface Hunter's creative process and demonize Dwayne throwing wrenches. Yeah. That's basically what it is. WWE announced on WrestleMania weekend that they're going to have a new WWE Unreal show on Netflix that's going to pull the curtain back on the creative room of WWE. They're going to open up the writings room for TV cameras. It's like
fucking Cody got his ass. Cody got his ass whooped, and you see the line in the bottom that says, "Oh, he's fine, guys. He's just selling." I'm like, oh no. Yeah, okay. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, yo, like, oh man.
They should not do this. I'm telling you, this is making it even worse. Like, you're gonna pull it back and you're gonna just see, like, this is gonna prove all of our points that you guys don't give a fuck. You don't care. You don't know how to write proper stories. Like, it's terrible. They should not do this. I'm one for a whole documentary and behind the scenes shit. You know I am. This one ain't it though.
This ain't it. This ain't it at all. It's not it at all. We got another super chat donation from Chillin' with Chase, who says Rock versus Triple H, the greatest feud of all time. I did say on In the Weeds, there's two things I want to mention from In the Weeds with Jeremy, because we had a whole hour and a half discussion about this, and it's like, this is the most interesting story right now in WWE. There's no storyline bigger than this whole power struggle between Rock and Triple H. It's so interesting. It's a talking point that you can go back to and you can talk about, and you can look at things differently. Like talking about the whole promo that he did after the kickoff show, where he was like flaunting the fact that he got his way and that Cody was in the main event and Rock was not getting his matchup with Roman. Now it recontextualizes the ending of WrestleMania 40. The ending of WrestleMania 40, I think I was one of the few people who criticized it, because I was like, this should be about Cody finishing his story. Why the fuck is Cody calling out Bruce Pritchard and Triple H to come out here and share in the spotlight? But like Jeremy said it, he was like, it wasn't a big finish the story for just Cody. It was WWE Creative got to finish their story, got to finish the story that they put so much time into. They won the creative battle, the power struggle behind the scenes against The Rock, and this was their celebration. It wasn't just Cody's celebration. It was Triple H's creative process celebration.
I actually 100% believe that.
Yeah. Because he called all of them out, and yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it was a little weird. Like that was kind of like, you know, when all that stuff happened, it was a little over the top for me. And you see Cody Rhodes saying thank you to Nick Khan and all that stuff, and it was just like, oh god, like I see where the direction is going when it comes to WWE. Like they're gonna lean into the reality stuff, like the real stuff, when it comes to everything. And then now, I just think what happened, right, with WrestleMania week and all the press, I think what happened was that the problem too is that nobody wasn't really promoting WrestleMania. Everyone was like about themselves or like their personal shit, right? I think that was the biggest problem too. But I think part of it too is that I think some people tried to throw wrenches at AEW and it didn't work this time. Last year, they did it, and AEW, their response was terrible because it was on TV. They put it in their television product, and it made them look worse. Like it made the AEW look worse. And I think that's why I think that's what they were trying to do too. I think Nick Khan tried to do it when he made that comment about Shad Khan. And it didn't work. None of it worked. Seth Rollins did it. That didn't work. AEW just shut and had arguably one of the best dynamites in their history that week. And then you know they had another nice follow-up. I think that's what part of the problem was. I think they were trying to do different things to try to throw wrenches that didn't work. And a lot of people just make themselves look worse. Triple H made himself look so bad in that Peter Rosenberg interview. Like there's
he was crying that not everybody's kissing his ass. Not everybody's jerking
he's like, be a fan. And to me, that was the biggest problem I was having, where he's like, and what made it funny too is that a lot of these drones, they were trying to like make it seem like it was like a W. I'm like, you fucking idiots. He's talking about you too. Like he's telling you to be a fan. And you're here fucking defending it like you're getting a paycheck from him. It's just weird. It was all of it was weird. But then it's like you're upset because because people are criticizing you, but yeah, you guys weren't hiding it last year when you guys were bragging about how well you were doing. You had 17 straight sellouts leading to WrestleMania. Not once I saw that this year. by the way.
No.
Why? Because none of the shows were selling.
They stopped doing that since like November. They stopped doing we've had this many sellouts in a row. We've had this many sellouts this year. They stopped that in like November, and it was very telling. It was very telling because they are overpricing shit now.
Yeah,
they
weren't
sellouts.
They weren't sellouts. They're doing good crowds. That's always the thing I've always said. Like, they're drawing good crowds, but then they're fucking full of shit about it. Like WrestleMania, they're talking about how they had over 124,000 people. No, it was like 116,000. It's still a great number. It's just that you're not being upfront about it. That's the shit that I always like.
Well, they always lie about.
No, they always do it. No, like they always do it.
I'm not surprised at all.
No, like, and that's what made it funny. I'm like, yeah, they're still doing that shit, right? Where they said night 1 was a sellout, and then night 2 had 2,000 more people. How is that a sellout then? How's that
weird how that works. Chilling with Chase with a super chat donation here. Thank you once again, Chase, for the support. He says, so annoying how WWE just wants to yell to fans, we're fake. Yeah, I don't understand
that. Like, stop doing. Yep.
Don't tell us that it's fake and that we shouldn't care. Like, that is like the worst. Like, yes, these people care and they get upset, they get happy, they find joy because wrestling is supposed to be an escape. You are stealing the escape from your own fan base, and that is not a good way to increase your fan base or to have them buy a ticket to your WrestleManias, buy your ticket to your Raws and your SmackDowns, sit down and watch 3 hours of SmackDown every week. If you're telling us to stop caring because it's all fake, that is not the right way.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Kevin Feige didn't come out and say, stop caring about Marvel because we all hated the Internals. Robert Downey Jr. don't need to come out every time at the start of your Iron Man in your local theater and being like, hey guys, don't take it too seriously because it's all fake. It's all a work. No, they understand this is an escape. If you want to be like the real entertainment, you so badly want to get the acceptance of real entertainment, treat yourself like it and stop telling us that is fake.
Yeah, and the problem too that I have with that is that WWE has made it a thing, right? They do certain things, and it's like now you're saying that you're this and you're that, right?
Yeah.
It's like
contradicting yourself.
Yeah, it's like you want to brag that you're the hottest product that's going on, but then when there's criticism, you can't handle it.
You can't take it. Yep.
And then you have Triple H says that the internet is not real, but then, you guys have no problem when you have a viral moment on social media. You show up social media numbers. That's never a problem, but yet the internet is fake. You know what I mean?
The internet is fake, but they're promoting that WrestleMania is the most socially viewed WrestleMania of all time. 1 billion views on social media. So, no, I thought that was fake. That's a fake number. So, what are you talking about?